So what are we trying to do today? So basically, it's going to be like a conversation between both of us. I will ask a few questions to sir, and then sir will explain. And maybe if you also want to pitch in, you can also get in between and ask your questions. So let us have it as informal as possible. And I just have a few slides just to make things interesting. So, the first question is, what if everything we have been taught how to succeed in life was wrong? I think things like go to school, study, get a good marks, get a job, and become a specialist. All those things, whatever, because when we see people who have succeeded or people who have achieved, majority of them are broken away the conventional things. Like if you see the list of billionaires in the world, majority of them are born poor. They made money first time, and it's not that rich people become more richer. They clearly make this concept of if you are rich, you can become rich. But majority of the billionaires are not rich. Majority of them were born very poor, and then they are first time they made the money. So lot of these things which we conventionally think, like the backbenchers in the school, they will not come up in life. But after 20-25 years of our professional life, we understand that the backbenchers are the people who succeed in life. And next thing is, if you become a specialist, are you becoming successful? But what we see is a generalist is more successful. For example, MBBS doctors become more successful. They run hospitals. Or a general ophthalmologist is more successful than a specialist retina surgeon. And so a lot of things which we have thought how to succeed in life was wrong. And Dharmendra sir, what are your views on this? What if everything you have been taught how to succeed in life was wrong? Do you agree on this? And what are your views on this?
No, I am a very big proponent of this thought because I think we were always taught to be skillful as kids, and that was also right approach for that point in time. Okay, but over the years, what has happened is there is a concept called scaling up that has come. Okay, and when we talk about scaling up, when we say, how do you scale? What does it mean? It doesn't necessarily mean that you reach scaling. Of course, reaches stuff to many people. Okay, so you want to reach volumes, you can reach volumes. But earlier also people used to reach volumes. Okay, means like a Hindustan Lever and a Birla and a Tata, they would reach volumes. How would they reach volumes? They would reach volumes by creating a distribution network, which required a lot of money. And after you get your product to the villages and small towns, you need to do a lot of advertising. So again, you require money. So it was very clear that there was one set of people who were very rich and they were running businesses. And then there was another set who were employees. And at that time, there was another choice that you can become a practitioner and you're a skillful practitioner. And I think the medical practice got a lot of fillip at that point in time. It got very popular and people started becoming practitioners. But skill is something that has come in the recent past when the technology boom happened. When people started skill means that you can reach a lot of people at a very low cost. So you don't need to be a Tata or a Birla to reach the entire world. And if you see today, companies like Zerodha, okay, these companies, like what Sir said, even people who are not so well-to-do have become extremely, extremely rich because suddenly reaching the world has become very, very easy. So that is one thought you should keep in mind that my business, when you think about your business as a practice, you have to ask three questions. Does it have margins? Does it have very high margins? If it has very high margins, good. To some extent, it's good. You can become rich. Second question is, does it have a scale? Okay, is it possible to reach a lot of people? Okay, can I reach a lot of people? And how to reach a lot of people? And third is the people I reach need to buy volumes of what I want to give. So if any of these things, if you have very high volumes, it's good. You have very high margins, it's good. So any business that has two of these three things going in their favor is supposed to be a very big business. So what I have realized is, as a kid, the person who knew how to get work done out of others, okay, today is a successful person. So we always think that doing the work very well ourselves is what will take us to the path of wealth. But what is really coming out over the last so many years is people who know how to get things and work done out of others. So it is that others that play a very big role. And therefore, I often believe that a lot of backbenchers and people who are really not scoring very well in colleges, they learned how to get work done out of others, and those are the guys who really succeeded. So this is my point of view on this particular aspect, and it'll be nice to have some of the doctors to comment on it, because I think we are all observers of the world. Nobody's out of this thing. We are, if we just close your eyes and observe the world, and you will see what is happening, how things have changed, how things were in our childhood. There were only top industrialists who made the money. Everybody else was an employee or a practitioner. Today, you have another set of people making tons of money, and they are neither very rich nor they have rich parents.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I think it was a very interesting thought. Basically, why I posted this question was to initiate the thinking process, that because we have this thinking that, okay, life is like this. If I study, I can do well. Or if I don't suffer in earlier age, then I can do better. Like, on the contrary, I think there is a famous quote which says that suffering leads to greatness. The earlier you suffer, I think it leads to more greatness. So, lot of things which we conventionally believe to be true, that these are the things which we are needing to succeed in life, actually is when we reach a stage after 20 years, 30 years of professional life, we understand that majority of the things are wrong. I think during this next 1.5 hours, what are all the points, or what are all the things which we thought were right is actually wrong, is what we are going to discuss. So let me start with a story. Like, this was told by Charlie Munger. So Mozart, this young man, who is around 22 years old, he went to Mozart, the musical prodigy, and asked him, like, "Can you teach me how to write a symphonies?" Then immediately Mozart answered that, "Oh, you are too young. You are too young to write a symphony, and I cannot teach you." Then he asked, like, "Oh, but you started writing symphonies when you were 10 years old, and I am 22 years old. Why are you telling me that I am too young for learning a symphony?" Then Mozart answered that, "I never went to anybody to ask how to write a symphony," meaning he learned everything by himself. So what I'm trying to drive is that nobody can teach you how to do things, but maybe there is a Chinese proverb which says like that the teachers can only show you the way or show you up to the door. It is for you to enter into that and then explore the opportunities. And so this is a very interesting story by Mozart as to how you can actually think, and it is basically you have to do things and on your own, and nobody can teach you how to do. And there is also another interesting story of Mozart where I don't know, Mozart died when he was 35 years old and he was broke. He was financially very poor, had a lot of debts, and he died with no money with him because of two things. I think one thing, he spent lavishly. Mozart was not thinking about financial planning or anything, and he spent a lot of money, and he spent lavishly. So somebody like Mozart, who could earn so much of money and who had that kind of a popularity, but it was very surprising that he also died. So are we as doctors, how many of us are earning a decent money? And I think there was a statistics which says that doctors die young. At least Indian doctors die a little earlier than normal population. And at least are the doctors financially strong before they die? And a doctor can also be compared to Mozart, Mozart, the musical prodigy, but doctors do the surgery and treat patients. So these two stories let us think a lot of things about the way we should also lead our lives. Your views, sir, on these two stories?
Yeah, so obviously the story is about a very skillful person who learned everything himself. So he said, told his friend that I did it myself. I didn't go to anybody. But despite having all the skills, I think because he didn't do manage his money well, and that affected his life. So very clearly, I would like to add something more to the discussion also, like in continuation to what I started with. That see, if you say that check your business, you have whether you have margin, whether you have volume, whether you have scale. Now, let's say you are a doctor over there and you realize that I don't have very high margins because I can only charge what the market charges. My volumes, my scale is limited to my own area and my own practice where I am. And obviously, I cannot have the same patient coming every month. My job is to treat him. Now, when you analyze it, you might see that, look, in many of the parameters, I'm not there. So now what is it? Should I give up? Should I feel I made the wrong choice? Or is there a solution? So the point is, when Healthall with Dr. Senthil and I, we are associated, our whole intention is to provide you alternate solutions. And sir, there are many, many solutions, and you can be part of uh, even low margin, high scale, and high volume businesses. Okay, it doesn't have to be that. See, the problem is when we focus too much on skill, it all boils down to what I can do. When I go, what I can do. When I meet a patient, what I can do. Okay, I think there lies the problem. A lot of things slows down, and a lot of things don't happen the way maybe you wish to do, primarily because when we look at what I can do and versus what I can get done and what I can own and what I can, so there's so much more that is possible in the world. And of course, the profession that you are in is the most noble profession. I think the main purpose of the profession is to treat people and to treat as many people as possible in the world so that people don't have health problems. But at the same time, I think you need to also see the changing world, and in the changing world, what course corrections are required in the way you structure your professional life. Yes, sir. That was my point.
So can we have some inputs from our participants? Like maybe I think if you can, somebody can pitch in to make it more interactive. Are we on track? And maybe you can even give your comments so that it can become like a discussion rather than one.
Also, I think we need to also have a small disclaimer over here. Many of the discussions that we will do perhaps may not be aligned to your current thought process in many areas. But the whole idea of coming together and having a discussion is to challenge some of the thoughts that you've had with you. And it's not easy to change your thinking. But I think if you're open to it, so then what I keep saying that we should discuss things that you should be hearing and not what you like to hear. Because if we talk things that you like to hear, then there's no new learning. So definitely the objective of this meeting is to come and share some new ideas, something that you've never thought about. And see, it's very easy to keep defending what we know and think that's the right thing. But see, we are one person in a whole world of so many crores of people. So it's very important that we need to pay attention to what's happening in the ecosystem, how things are changing, and try and evolve along with that. So the whole idea is that we would like to discuss things that are actually going to help you a lot, but they may not be aligned to what you've currently been thinking. So one of the thoughts is that we'll require more participation to keep us energized for the next 2 hours. So if there's participation, we know that we are talking to people who are listening to us because everybody's face also is not visible over here. So my earnest request is if you participate, we will have the energy to give you more in this session and more to think about. And of course, we have not come only with problems, but we are raising certain problems and we have the answers to them.